Here's what happened round 3 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. The MXGP of Switzerland is presented by iXS. MX2 race 1, Jago Geerts got his second foxhole shot of the season. And he was closely followed by the 39 of Rowan van der Moosdijk, Adamo, Everts, Thibaut Beneston there, 198. The 44 of Rick Elsinga, a couple of positions further back, Kai de Wolf and Simon Langenfelder. The rutty track drying out fast. It was hard, it was rutty, it was rugged. Liam Everts fell early on. He was in 7th place, tipped over after catching the rear wheel of Rick Elsinga. That lost him a position, but Kai de Wolf, one of the riders on the charge, eventually found his way past the 44 of Rick Elsinga to move into 5th place. Langenfelder was right there as well, and it wasn't long before the German in red tucked neatly up the inside of the Dutchman to take over 6th place. And Liam Everts also followed through into 7th on the number 72. Kevin Hawkmo not too far behind. Thibaut Beneston, who was sitting in 3rd place, he just lost the front in a deep rut, picked himself up behind Andrea Adamo. That dropped him to 4th. Centre of your screen, race leader, Jago Geerts, big crash over that jump. That was on lap 14 of 19. He picked himself up in 2nd, but his bike was badly twisted. He had an attempt of a pass there by Langenfelder, who came off worse. Langenfelder eventually came home in 5th. Kai de Wolf eventually got the better of Thibaut Beneston. And then Adamo late on to move into 2nd. Adamo was 3rd. Lucas Koenen, a good charge from the outside gates to come home in 6th place with that pass on the final lap on Jago Geerts, who came home 7th. But it was van der Moosdijk, de Wolf, Adamo, your top 3. MX2 race 2. This time it was Andrea Adamo on the Red Bull KTM that grabbed the foxhole shot, the first of the season for the Italian. Thibaut Beneston alongside him though as they hit the first jump and was quickly into the lead. Behind them, Jago Geerts in 3rd. Everts and Jack Chambers from the US battling over 4th and 5th as Mikkel Horup on the WZ Racing KTM fell. First 3-4 positions being fought over early on. Langenfelder just getting up the inside of Everts to move into 4th place. Thibaut Beneston, Jago Geerts, not for the first time in that corner, changed positions. Adamo did lead briefly, but before the start of lap 2, Thibaut Beneston took over at the head of the field. Jago Geerts then moved past the Italian to take over 2nd. This would only last for a couple of laps though, before he fell just by the entrance to pit lane. Picked himself up in 3rd. That's where Jago Geerts, the championship leader, would remain. It was a tough day in the office for the Belgian. The 39 of Rowan van der Moosdijk eventually found his way into 8th with that pass on Elsinga, who eventually faded to 11th. And on the final half lap, Kai de Wolf sided his way up the inside of Langenfelder to take over 4th from the German. But it was a comfortable race win for Thibaut Beneston. Adamo was 2nd, Geerts 3rd, de Wolf 4th, Langenfelder 5th. And that race win meant that Thibaut Beneston, with a 4th and a 1st, took his 2nd career victory. Adamo was 2nd with his 2nd podium of the season, likewise for de Wolf, who went 2-4. Jago Geerts' lead at the start of the day was 30 points. It's now been cut to 20. His teammate Thibaut Beneston moves up to 2nd. Kai de Wolf 3rd. But the Montreal Yamaha rider, Thibaut Beneston, your Grand Prix winner here in Switzerland. Geerts continues to lead as we head to round 4.
I was feeling good during this moto. First one I was quite tight. So I was not able to push. I had a bit of arm pump. And yeah, second one I was feeling pretty good. I tried to attack directly. And then yeah, all the moto I have a lot of pressure from my teammate. I think he made a small mistake. And then I was feeling better and I just managed to win. And
MXGP race 1, all eyes over on the right-hand gates as Jorge Prado with his 2nd foxhole shot of the campaign, first of the day. He merged through the first turn with his Red Bull Gas teammate close behind him in the form of Mattia Guadagnini. Not too far behind though, in green was Maxime Renault, Jeffrey Hurlings, Jeremy Seewer and Calvin Verlanderen. Look, bottom right corner of his screen, Verlanderen then crossed the path of Seewer on the opening lap. Seewer was all the way at the back. He picked himself up at the end of the first lap in 26th place, but he would only eventually finish in 20th position. Febvre on the charge, found his way past Valandren early on to move into 5th. And so too, Maxime Renaux. This pass on Jeffrey Herlings on lap 2 put him into 3rd place. He then went after Mattia Guadagnini. An easy pass on the Italian put him in 2nd. And Romain Febvre closed the door on Jeffrey Herlings to take over 4th place. Calvin Valandren also found his way past the number 84. As Febvre closed in on Guadagnini, the Italian fell from 3rd, handing that 3rd place to the number 3. Ruben Fernandez got the better of Herlings to take 5th. That's where he would finish. Herlings would eventually come home in 6th place. Some hard charging from Glenn Koldenoff in the later stages got him up into 8th place, pushing Mattia Guadagnini down to 9th. And the Swiss rider, Valentin Guillot, eventually came home in 7th with that pass on Koldenoff. But it was Jorge Prado with his 3rd win of the year, Maxime Renaux 2nd, Febvre 3rd, Valandren and Fernandez your top 5. MXGP Race 2, once again, Jorge Prado, the quickest out of the blocks and over the foxhole shot line. 2nd time today, 3rd time this year. Watch Romain Febvre here from the outside of the bank, almost into the path of Calvin Valandren as he emerged in, 3rd, 4th position. Herlings was there in 2nd, Fernandez in 4th behind Renaux, and Siwa, not a bad start, but he was locked behind the 3 of Romain Febvre. 1 or 2 moments there for Fernandez through that tight left-hander, but just like he did in race 1, Maxime Renaux was able to close down and find his way past Jeffrey Herlings to move into 2nd position. And before the end of the official first lap, he found his way past the fast-starting Prado to take over the lead. Prado, though, did hang on to the Frenchman for 2nd. Herlings and Febvre at it again. Herlings getting caught and passed. Febvre moving into 3rd. Alberto Ferrato on the KTM emerged onto the rear wheel and passed Ruben Fernandez. That put him into 6th. Fernandez eventually came home in 8th. Later stages of the race, Romain Febvre squeezed Jorge Prado to the inside to take over 2nd. That was on lap 12 of 19. Despite closing in on Maxime Renaux, though, he wasn't able to make the pass, and it was the Frenchman, Maxime Renaux, who took the race win from Febvre, Prado, Herlings and Siwa. And that win, with a 2nd in race 1, a win in race 2, gave Renaux the overall victory, his 8th career Grand Prix win. Prado 2nd, his 3rd visit to the podium in 3 rounds, and Febvre 3rd overall. Championship, though, Jorge Prado was 7 points clear of Herlings at the start of the weekend. He is now 21 clear. Renaux 3rd, just 3 behind him, and he's only 2 ahead of Romain Febvre. But it was Maxime Renaux, monster on his Yamaha on the top step of the podium. Jorge Prado leads as we head to Trentino, round 4.
Feels great, you know. I've been off podium for the first 2 races. It was not an easy thing to accept, you know, because I knew all the pieces of the puzzle were here, and now finally I could get it all together. So upping my game on the puzzle, you know, and I'm very happy.